Hi guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to a Rachel Cerys classic, another Rachel's Reading Rambles. So grab some water, grab a cup of tea, grab a snack, let's get started. I wanted to do one of these because I really feel like I haven't sat down and spoken to you guys and just rambled at you for quite a while now. So I just wanted to catch you guys up on life stuff, book stuff, TBR stuff, upcoming plans for my channel, etc, etc. So the first thing that I want to start with is all the books I've read recently, because I haven't done a wrap up since March, I want to say, and then I had Prompt to Prompt where I actually read quite a lot and I've never wrapped up any of those books. So we're going to do a quick fire April/May wrap up to what I've currently read. So buckle in. We're going to do this quick fire. I'm going to say quick fire one more time because I'm going to do one sentence of the genre, what it's about, if I liked it or not, and just go really quick fire because there are quite a few books I want to discuss, but I don't want it to be going on forever because there are more exciting things to talk about, such as next round of Magical Hopathon, what I'm currently doing in my life other than reading. So yeah, I want to get into all the fun juicy stuff. This is just kind of keeping my channel on track with actually wrapping up the books I've read. So I started off April reading Friendaholic by Elizabeth Day, which is a non-fiction book written by Elizabeth Day, kind of following adulthood and kind of how you make friendships as an adult, how you lose friendships, how you kind of grow and progress through friendships. I enjoyed this one. I listened to it as a audiobook, which is how I always listen to Elizabeth Day stuff because I just really enjoy her narration and kind of her thoughts and feelings, and I just really enjoy her as a journalist, as a writer. So I didn't rate this one. I did enjoy it. Some bits were slower than others, but overall did enjoy it. Not my favourite Elizabeth Day because How to Fail will always be my favourite Elizabeth Day, but I enjoyed it and I'm glad I read it. Then I read It Starts With Us by Colin Hoover and I was pleasantly surprised about this one. I don't think I need to go in too much depth about this one, but this is the sequel to It Ends With Us by Colin Hoover, which by the way I watched a trailer of day before yesterday. It looks really good. I know people were a bit apprehensive about this trailer, but the trailer looks really good, so I'm excited to see it and I'm glad I read the entire duology now in preparation for watching the film. I really enjoyed it, gave it 4 stars, and I think I preferred it to It Ends With Us, even though I did rate Ends With Us 5 stars back when I did read it. But I think looking back, that one probably is a 3.5 and this one is a 4. I then read The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson, which is her newest release. This is a YA mystery thriller. I absolutely love Holly Jackson's Good Girls Guide to Murder trilogy. Liked 5 Survive, but not as much. I was excited to kind of get back to her roots, but this one fell a little bit flat for me. I still really enjoyed it. I still gave it 4 stars, but it didn't need to be this big, which is kind of what I'm seeing around on BookTube and Bookstagram. It's a bit too long. Everyone's kind of feeling the same sort of vibe. This one basically follows Belle, our main character, who is the daughter of Rachel Price, and Rachel Price has been missing for years, and then all of a sudden she's randomly reappeared, and you're following Belle trying to figure out why her mum's back and all her family's secrets, and obviously all gets revealed. I was definitely on edge reading this book, but I just feel like with Holly Jackson, she has a formula and she's sticking with it, and it's getting a little bit repetitive for me now. So I'm not sure I'll pick up another Holly Jackson if it's on the same sort of vibe, but if it's completely different, then maybe I will. Excited for the TV show though of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I then read New From Here by Kelly Yang, which was on my 2024 TBR. I didn't love this one. I once again listened to it as a audiobook. I've listened to a lot of audiobooks recently. I don't know if it was because of the narration with this one, but it sounded very young, very basic English. Yes, it is a middle grade, but Kelly Yang's other series I love, the Front Desk series, I don't feel that written for as young of an age. Maybe that's because I'm reading it in my own head rather than listening to the audiobook, I don't know. But this one basically follows a family when they migrate from China to America at the very beginning of the coronavirus pandemic. And I was kind of going through this book being like, oh yeah, it's quite interesting to hear and see the coronavirus through a young child's eyes. And then when I get to the end, listen to the author's note, it is a real life dictation of what Kelly Yang's family went through at the very beginning of the coronavirus, and it's told through her son's perspective, which kind of really did up the rating for me. I probably would have given it a 2.5 stars if it wasn't for that author's note, but the fact that it was based on true events, I really do feel like this book has some sort of impact and it has this kind of real value to it now, so I gave it a 3 stars. The next book I read was The Deal by Elle Kennedy, which I read as an ebook on my phone before getting something really exciting, which I can't wait to tell you guys. So I read this on my phone, pretty much read it Absolutely loved it. I can see the hype. This is basically a hockey college romance. Everyone knows what this book is about, and it follows two main characters told in dual perspectives, so of course it's going to love it. The smut is excellent, chef's kiss, and I just really enjoyed the plot, the characters. The smut, obviously, like I said, was incredible. The only thing I wish there was more of was more kind of like well-roundedness in the plot as a whole, because it does kind of touch upon some darker topics. But I wish they were a little bit more fleshed out to make these characters feel really real and to make it more of a contemporary romance with some really good smut, rather than like a smutty book with a little bit of like real life action in there, if that makes sense. So I really enjoyed that one. I gave it a 4 star. I think we're then leading to the culprit of my biggest reading slump of 2024 to date. Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry guys, but I really didn't enjoy this book. Like, really didn't enjoy this book looking back on it. I just thought it was so mediocre, and I thought it was so repetitive and such a mirror copy of Caraval. But Caraval is just so much more magical, so much more whimsical, just has so much more going for it. And plus, Caraval has Julian. Once Upon a Broken Heart has Jax, and Julian is just like so superior to Jax. I'm sorry. I just have no interest in continuing on with this series, and I just think every time I read this book, Evangelina reminded me so much of Donatella from the Caraval series, and I was constantly reading it being like, it's just not as magical. And I have heard that some people do say this is the weakest in the series, but I just have no inkling to carry on, so I'm not going to. And I think this was the culprit of my reading slump. The last book I read in April, I listened to Betting on the House by Sandra Metcalf, which was a random choice on my Scribd account, and I actually really ended up enjoying this. This is a kind of like fixer-upper romance, small town, and it follows our bisexual main character who ends up getting her grandmother's house in her inheritance, and she ends up going to the small town to try and renovate it so she can rent it. Lawyers get involved. The lawyer that's looking after this case is called Natalie, and when Bonnie and Natalie have a one-night stand, without realising it, the next day she goes to her lawyer's office, and lo and behold, the lawyer is Natalie. So then there's some like tension there because Natalie's trying to help get this family's house business sorted. Bonnie's trying to do it up, and in the midst of doing it up, she meets a handyman in the town called Sean, who is just like the most amazing side character ever. I absolutely loved him. And that was just a platonic friendship, and I think that's exactly what Bonnie needed at the time of grieving her grandma. So I gave this book a 3.5 stars. I actually really enjoyed it. So I cannot wait to continue on the series, because there's another book directly following on from Betting on the House, and then there's a spin-off following Sean's story. So of course I cannot wait to read that one. When? I don't know. So that's the last book I read in April, and then I hit a major reading slump. What's new with me right now? Nothing. So to kind of combat that reading slump, I brought myself a Kindle, because obviously that was going to get me out of my slump, and lo and behold, it actually did get me out of my reading slump. So the first book I read on my Kindle to christen it was The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. I love the deal so much. All of the off-campus series is on Kindle Unlimited, which I have for free for 3 months with the purchase of my Kindle, so I was like, better make the most of it. And I really enjoyed this one as well. I think I enjoyed it just as much as the deal, but there were some parts in this book that were a little bit slower than the deal, whereas the deal felt like a really good pace throughout, so I gave it a 3.5 stars. What I love about these two books, The Deal and The Mistake, is that they're hockey romances, but like the talk of hockey is like minimal. The smut, on the other hand, is very good and up there with one of the best I've read. So I really enjoyed that one. It's a perfect book to get me out of my slump. And then the most recent book I finished was a massive whim. I got this when I was with Emily and Chloe, so if you haven't seen that Come Bookshop with me video, I'll link it up above and down below. But this was an absolute like whim. This was a charity book find, never heard of it before. The Honeymoon by Kate Gray. I just wanted a thriller, a quick book to kind of like keep my pace of reading going. I picked up this one, and it definitely did that. This is such a fast-paced book. I gave this one a 4 star. I really enjoyed this one. This one basically follows two couples who both honeymoon at Bali at the same time. You follow two perspectives of both the wives. So you follow the perspective of Erin and the perspective of Sophia. In Bali, when they're both on holiday there, a man ends up dead. It basically just follows these 4 characters and how they intertwine, how they link, and kind of like figuring out who killed this person in Bali. Who is to blame? I don't know. But I really, really enjoyed this book. I binged the last 230-ish pages in one sitting, and I just couldn't get enough of it, and I did really, really enjoy it. So I gave it a 4 star. I do feel like if you have read a lot of thrillers before, You may find this one very predictable. I don't read many thrillers, so I didn't find that I kind of figured out the ending. I had some sort of kind of like ideas, but I was wrong all the time. So I found this one very kind of like plot twisty, lots of twists and turns, lots of ups and downs. Enjoyed this one, gave it 4 stars. So those are all the books I've read recently. I said that it was going to be quick fire. It hasn't really been quick fire. I just wanted to catch you guys up into what I've been reading because I haven't been able to make content around those books. So I just wanted to like do a little bit quick fire, let you guys know what I've been up to. I've been reading some great books at the minute. I'm definitely glad that my Kindle has got me out of my reading slump. Talking of which, this is my May TBR. I haven't read a single book from my May TBR. I've tried to read this one and I've tried to read this one with no avail. I haven't been able to get into either of them. So I decided to just scrap my May TBR at all. I'm not even thinking about it. I don't even want to try and complete it. It is what, the 19th of May already. I can't believe it. Cannot believe we're like almost in June. Baffles me. But I'm not even thinking about it. I don't even want to try and complete it. I'm just gonna like forget that the May TBR ever happened and just allow myself to mood read. You would have seen I did a whole mood reading vlog with me that went live on Sunday when you're seeing this on Tuesday. So if you haven't seen that, I'll link up above and down below, but that just basically took you on my journey of trying to mood read, get me out of my slump, and then purchasing my Kindle in light of not being able to get out of my slump with my physical TBR. So I did purchase a Kindle and I am absolutely loving it. It's just like the best thing that I could have brought at the right time. It definitely got me out of my slump. I read obviously The Mistake on here and then I went straight into a physical book, and now I'm reading another book on here as well. I'm reading the latest book by Mike Gale, The Song of Me and You. I am just obsessed with this. It's just, I know everyone says it, but you read so much quicker on a Kindle and you just pick up books a lot easier on your Kindle as well, because you're like, oh, I have 5 minutes to spare. Turn this thing on and just read like 10 pages and you're like, oh, okay, you've actually got through a book quite quickly. Everything everyone is saying about Kindle is so true, and I'm just so glad I finally just bit the bullet and got one, because I do think it's going to massively help my reading across the next 6 months of the year. And I know I was doing my Kindle countdown series, but you guys, I caved, yes, but also my books left on my iBooks account, like 6 of them are Christmas books. Some of the books I tried to already read. I got a comment from Claire on my channel saying to not read The Appeal because it's horrible, and I have tried to read that already before and I didn't really get into it. So I feel like the books left on my iBooks account were books that I really just didn't want to read, and therefore I didn't see the point in putting off buying a Kindle just for the sake of trying to force myself through some books that I'd already attempted to read before, slash are also on Kindle Unlimited. So kind of like, what's the point in reading them on my phone when I can still read them on my Kindle? So I just kind of like came to the conclusion of just, it's the right time. I got myself a Kindle and I have no regrets whatsoever. I obviously did the classic thing of getting a clear case and then buying some stickers to go in it. So if you haven't seen my latest weekly reading vlog, then you wouldn't have seen that I got all these stickers. And I decorated it on camera with you guys, and I have changed it since decorating it last week because some of the smaller stickers were moving every time I pulled my pop socket out, so I had to like rejig it slightly, but I managed to make it work and it's absolutely stunning. Obviously they're all Disney and books and it just makes me so happy. But my current read, A Song of Me and You, is good. I am enjoying it, but like I haven't got that like, oh my god, Mike Gale feeling since reading Half a World Away and then reading A Man I Think I Know. Those are 2 5-star books for me by Mike Gale, and every Mike Gale book I've read since, one I gave a 4-star, which I enjoyed, but it didn't give me that like, oh my god, Mike Gale's like my favourite author. The second one, The Legendary Girlfriend, I DNF'd, and now I'm reading A Song of Me and You, and yes, I'm enjoying it, but it's been like a 3.5 star, so I'm like, where's this Mike Gale magic gone? Because I was absolutely obsessed with him when I first discovered him. I read Half a World Away, absolutely devoured it. Then I was like, oh my god, yes, Mike Gale's one of my new favourite authors. I clearly just then picked another incredible book by him, A Man I Think I Know, which I gave a 5-star again. But ever since then, I haven't been loving his books, which makes me so sad. Like, I still love him as an author, I still love him as a person. I really hope that I read some more Mike Gale in the future that really like knocks my socks off. But of recent, I haven't kind of been getting that like 5-star feeling from Mike Gale, which is sad. I'm enjoying this one. It basically follows 2 main characters, Ben and Helen, and they were high school sweethearts back in the day. They were together for 2 years when they were 18. They were living their best life, and Ben's passion was music, and he ended up becoming a really famous rock star, like one of the most famous on the earth. They haven't seen each other in like 20 years. Helen's living her like mundane life. She's just about to get divorced. She has 2 kids. Very different universe to Ben. And then one day Ben knocks on her door and he's like, hi, how are you? And she goes, what the hell are you doing here? Haven't seen you in so long. And it all gets revealed that he's actually running away from the limelight. He doesn't want to be a musician anymore, and he can only think of going to Helen's place to try and hide out and recuperate for a little bit. And then they start to kind of like rekindle their friendship, and I'm enjoying it. I'm about 50% of the way through, but like I said, there's nothing like magical about it, which I'm really sad about. So I'm hoping once my current read is finished, which kind of leads me on to like the books that I do want to prioritize and kind of some of my video plans that I have over the next couple of weeks. We'll do our book plans first. So my immediate TBR, I'm really feeling like a reread of some sort, and I'm also, there's one book that I need to read sooner rather than later, and that is, I need to read page 2 in 7 Summers before 4th of July. Why, you may ask? Because Lindsay Kelk is going on a book tour. Her London date is the 4th of July. Her guests for her London date are the one and only Paige Toon and, drumroll please, Giovanna Fletcher. If you didn't know, Lindsay Kelk has a new book coming out this summer called Love Story. I'm very excited for it. I didn't love her latest release, Love Me Do. Like, I enjoyed it, I gave it 4 stars, but it wasn't like my all-time favourite Lindsay Kelk, but I will support her no matter what. When she has a new book coming out, I was like, yes, 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 and then she announced a book tour, and I was like, and then I looked at a London date, and I was like, oh my god, it's the trio. It's the trio. I don't go to many book events. Alas, I've only been to one, and that book event, back in like 2018, yeah, that was the last book event I went to, was the one and only Lindsay Kelk, Giovanna Fletcher and Paige Toon, and I met them all and I got all my Giovanna Fletcher books signed, and the fact that they're all coming back together again, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to just hear them talk and like see their friendship. Giovanna Fletcher hasn't really been part of like the publishing world for a while. She does a lot of like more like TV personality, a lot of like clothing ads, and she campaigns a lot for Copperfield, which is a breast cancer awareness charity, and I love all her work she's doing on the side, but she hasn't released a book since Walking on Sunshine, which was released in what, like 2021? Yeah, so it's been 3 years. It's been 3 years since she released a book, and I read this book as an ARC on NetGalley back in 2021, and I haven't reread it since, which is where like the TBR plans come in. I need to read this one so I can take this one along, get it signed, and hear Paige Toon talk about it without getting any spoilers, because that's the book that Paige Toon's going to kind of try and promote, because obviously her latest release. And then Giovanna's book next to her name under the event is Walking on Sunshine, obviously because it's her latest release, and like I said, I haven't reread it since reading it as an ARC before it even came out in 2021, so it's about time I give it a reread. It really is, and I think it's a perfect time. It's given me the full-on purpose to reread it, because obviously I'm seeing her again and this is a book that she'll be kind of like talking about, so I feel like it's a perfect opportunity to reread it again. If you didn't know, this one basically follows a group of 4 friends. Unfortunately, one of them, I can't remember their names, but one of them unfortunately has passed away from breast cancer, and obviously, like I said previously, Giovanna Fletcher does a lot of Copperfield work. She goes on all the treks that Copperfield hosts to help raise awareness for breast cancer and to check your boobs. So this book is heavily inspired by one of the treks she goes on. So the 3 friends that are left behind after, her name begins with P. Pia. After Pia's gone, the 3 other friends go on a trek to kind of like help themselves heal and reconnect, because they were the foursome. They were like the 4 musketeers, and it's all about that. And I absolutely loved this book when I read it as an ebook. I always said I was going to read it once I got a physical book, and I just never got around to it. So this is the perfect opportunity to do it. So these 2 books are definitely on my kind of like top priority TBR right now. This one basically follows, I have no idea because I just got it because it's Paige Toon's newest release, 6 summers ago, Liv and Finn. What is it about Finn's names at the minute? I love books with Finn and Olive are my 2 buzzword names for characters in books, clearly. Liv and Finn meet working a bar on the rugged Cornish coastline. When a night of passion ends in tragedy, their hearts are bound together. When Finn must return home to LA, so they make a promise. Finn will come back every year, and if they're single, they will spend the summer together. And this summer, Liv crossed paths with Tom, a mysterious newcomer. As the wildflowers bloom, they begin to fall in love with each other, and Liv starts to picture a world where her heart isn't broken each year. Now Liv must make the impossible choice, and when she discovers the shocking reason that Tom has left home, she'll need to trust her heart even more. And this one very much sounds familiar to 5 years from now, and that is my favourite Paige Toon book. So this is definitely a must read in the next month, really, and so is this one. So that's my really exciting news. I'm so excited to hear them speak again, get them back together. I was like, is it too much to bring my entire I Heart series to get that signed by Lindsay Kelk, or should I just take the first one? All of them are tabbed up and written in because they're part of my forever collection, because I love that series so much. Like, is it too intense to bring 7 books along with me that are just Lindsay Kelk books? I don't know. I have to think about it. Let me know in the comments if I should take every single book in the I Heart series by Lindsay Kelk along to the book event. I don't even know if there's a signing there. Like, I'm hoping there is, but it doesn't say on the Waterstones website or anything if there is or not, so there could be a risk that could absolutely fail. So those are obviously the 2 books that I really want to get to, like, sooner rather than later. And in terms of like video plans coming up, starting tomorrow, because it is Sunday as I'm filming this, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be really active on Instagram because I'm going to do a week and a bit. I think I've decided now my weekly reading vlogs need to just run over a week ever so slightly, just so I can actually read more than 1 book in each video. That would be massive. So that would be amazing. So the next video, the next weekly vlog kind of video that I want to do is Instagram chooses the books I read. So what I'm going to do is I'll take pictures of 2 book covers, put them on Instagram, scribble them out so you can't see, give you some emojis as clues, and then whichever one gets the highest vote I will read. I'll probably put that poll up today just so I can get started on reading the first book tomorrow, so I'm not kind of waiting all day to see what the poll has to say. But as a heads up, the first poll will most likely be, which book shall I reread? I guess this video is going to go out after you see that poll, so it doesn't matter, but I probably will end up having Walking on Sunshine as one of the options, and also then a Ashley Poston as one of the options, because I'm also aware that Ashley Poston's brand new release comes out like next month, and I want to reread Dead Romantics and 7 Year Slip before that book comes out. So there's a lot of rereading that I want to do soon. I might do a whole rereading vlog. Another weekly reading vlog idea that I have is a week dedicated to just reading books on my Kindle and books on Kindle Unlimited, because I want to title it like In My Kindle Era, and then I can just like read and binge loads of Kindle books. I would love to do that kind of vlog soon. And then before we know it, I will have posted some weekly reading vlogs, I'll be posting some sit down videos, and then the next big sit down video to come is my Magical Hopathon round 4 announcement video. I can't believe it's coming around so quickly. Seeing as I've hit one of my biggest reading slumps so far this year, I was really hesitant on whether I actually wanted to host it or not, because obviously it's a lot of work to prep for it, and then there's a lot of work to do weekly reading vlogs during it, hosting reading sprints. Like, it was a lot of time out of my day-to-day life to actually host it this time round, especially now that like the whole world's gone back to normal. I do have a full-time job, whereas obviously when I hosted my first one in 2021, I was still kind of like working from home for the majority. And then as well in 2022, I only hosted a 2-week-long one because the world was slow and getting back to normal. And then obviously the last one I just did, which was to celebrate the 100 years of the whole company, was only a week-long one, and I took the whole week off work because I had some annual leave to take. So this is going to be the first time that I do a month-long one that requires all of my time whilst also doing a full-time job and actually just keeping myself alive. So I was like really umming on whether to do it, but I was like, I can't not do it. I'm going back to Disney in like just over 100 days as you're seeing this, which I'm so excited about. So I am doing it. It is coming. The announcement video is coming sooner rather than later, literally like a month away, and I'm so excited. It's a month long once again, and I'm just so excited to bring some Disney magic to you guys once again with round 4 of Magical Hopathon. And before I talk any longer, I'm going to leave this video here. I really hope you enjoyed catching up with me, hearing some of my video plans, hearing obviously the Magical Hopathon is coming back for round 4. It's official, definitely happening, and just having a bit of a bookish chat with me. I really do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you give it a massive thumbs up and subscribe down below to see future content from me. I usually do weekly reading vlogs, monthly TBRs, monthly wrap-ups, and any other bookish content that you can think of. I usually have it on this channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any. If you got to the end, make sure you leave a speech bubble emoji in the comments down below to let me know that you got to the end if you don't know what to comment, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.